and welcome to episode 3 of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah and I am coming to you from sunny St. Petersburg, Florida in the United States, where I live. You can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, of course, on Facebook, all as the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and on Ravelry, it is just the Cozy Cottage. How are you? It's episode 3. That means it's been a month since I started podcasting, which is kind of exciting. We have gotten over 100 subscribers already, which is just amazing to me that many people are so interested and want to spend a little bit of their time with me. So if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. If you are a returning viewer, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you coming back. It just fills my heart with joy. So we've got a lot to cover today. I've got 2 finished objects, a work in progress, and then a whole bunch of stuff to show you. So let's jump right in. The first finished object that I have is called Do the Foxtrot. It's the crochet lace wrap that I was working on last episode. Just show you. I'm not sure if the color is showing up quite like it should. It's a very dusky, icy purple. I have blocked this, so it was kind of all scrunched up, but now the lace has really opened up, and it's beautiful. It's very long. I don't think I can get this in the whole frame. It's actually longer. It's longer than my wingspan. There's still about this much left that I can't touch. So it's a rectangular wrap. Put it on so you can see. I'm getting stuck in the lace. And this is what it looks like. I think it's gorgeous. The only thing I'm concerned about is it's slightly scratchy to me, which I was really hoping would not be the case. It's 80% acrylic, 10% mohair, and 10% wool. This is the Patton's lace yarn. And when I felt it in the store, and when I've been feeling it all along as I've been crocheting it, I thought that it was going to be a little softer. I have washed this. You can throw this in the washing machine, and then I just dried it inside of a mesh bag in the dryer. But it's still slightly itchy, which I'm not happy about. But my skin is very, very sensitive to wool. I don't think I'm allergic, but it's just very sensitive in general to anything being itchy against it at all. And wool is slightly itchy, so I don't know. I'm going to try and give it a soak in some conditioner and see if that helps. And I can't really say until I wear it over a dress. I'm going to try wearing it over a dress and see if it's still too much for me. What I'm going to do is gift it to someone else who does not have a sensitivity to wool like I do. So this is it. It's my finished Do the Foxtrot wrap. And I'm so excited. I just love the color. And it was so easy. Once I got the pattern memorized, I want to say it took me about 20 minutes to do one pattern repeat. There's about 40 pattern repeats in the whole thing. I did the last 20 repeats on a plane. So I was on a plane for 6 hours last Sunday, flying to California for work. And this is what I had packed. And I finished the wrap on the plane, which is very exciting. So this is done. That's finished object number 1. Let me show you finished object number 2. It's a baby blanket. Now I showed it to you guys last time and it was only maybe a little triangle, and it's finished now. Just hide my face so you can see the blanket. It's a corner to corner throw pattern, which that's a free pattern on the internet. So there's some on YouTube. There's Red Heart Yarns has a free pattern for corner to corner. It's a very simple crochet stitch. So I went around the whole thing with a border. of just plain double crochets, and then I did a double crochet, chain one, double crochet all around, and then another row of double crochet. So that's the border. This is made out of Lion Brand Ice Cream Scoop yarn, which I showed you guys last time in the lemon swirl colorway. It's so cute. This is going to be a gift. I have blocked and washed this as well, and it is so soft. This baby blanket's going to be for somebody I know who's having a baby, which I debated whether to say on the podcast, just in case they were watching. But I actually have several friends who are pregnant, who are going to have babies, so I don't think they'll be able to know that it's them, even if I say it right now. So this is going to be a gift for someone's baby. It's a very gender neutral color, yellow and blue and green. I think it's beautiful, and I'm so happy with how it turned out, especially the border and how it washed up. So it was soft. This is 100% acrylic yarn. It was soft when I finished it, but after washing and drying it, it became even softer, and I feel like you could actually wrap a baby up in this with no problem. It stretches. The great thing about acrylic yarn is you can wash it, so it's perfect for baby items that are going to need washed pretty frequently. I don't know a lot of new parents who want to spend a lot of time hand washing wool items or things made out of animal fibers. Man-made fibers, pretty much the way to go for a new baby. So that blanket is finished. That's the ice cream scoop blanket. Super cute. So those are my two finished objects. Now, what you may notice is that there was not a certain project in the finished object category, and that is my sweater. Now, I know last time I promised that this would be finished, barring some kind of an alien invasion. Well, an alien invasion did not happen, but the sweater is still not finished, and let me tell you. So this is the boat neck pullover sweater by All Free Crochet. I got it off of allfreecrochet.com, but it's on Yarnspirations as well. It's a free pattern. Last time I showed you, I had this done, which is the front and the back of the sweater. It's just attached at the shoulders. And I had half of a sleeve done, and also all I had to do was 1.5 sleeves. Well, there was a small hiccup with sleeve number 1. So I had 79 stitches for sleeve number 1, and I was supposed to have 81. So I stopped and I said, okay, let me crochet the other sleeve up to this point where the increases stop and just see if they're the same. Well, of course they weren't. I had 81 stitches in this, the second sleeve. Now, I mean, 2 stitches is not a lot. I probably could have fudged it and just added 2 more stitches, like maybe ripped out a row or 2, added 2 more stitches somewhere. I don't even think anyone would have been able to tell. Because after this, it's straight pattern. There's no more increasing for about another 4 inches, and then that's how long the sleeve is. But I really, really wanted it to be right. So what I did was I started unraveling, and you will have seen this ball of yarn at the beginning of the episode with a picture with 4 little sad rows beside it. I started unraveling the sleeve, and I counted. So I worked out all the math because the pattern didn't have any of that math. So I worked out all the math as to how many stitches every row should have. Let me show you. All of this scribbling and numbers and keeping track of rows. I unraveled row by row. I was counting every row. And I was like, surely I'll find where I made the mistake in just a few rows, and I'll fix it. I won't have to unravel the whole thing. No. So I unraveled about 40 rows, counting every row. I couldn't find where I made the mistake. I must have missed an increase row somewhere, but I couldn't find it. And then I started unraveling them by threes and counting, hoping that just at some point it would get to be the right number of stitches. And when I got to about 15 rows left, I just ripped out the whole thing. Because at that point, why keep unraveling? I was a little irritated, I'm not going to lie, because this was my project for the plane coming home from California on Saturday. I came home on Saturday, and I had really wanted to get both sleeves finished on Saturday in the plane, and I totally could have done that if I hadn't ripped out the whole sleeve. So I took a moment, and I calmed down, and I started over. So now I have about a third of a sleeve. This is sleeve number 1, recrocheted. I am on the 6th pattern repeat out of 9, and I've been counting every 3 rows based on the math that I figured out when I was unraveling it, and so far I have the right number of stitches, so we should be okay. I should have just left it, shouldn't have I? Do you guys fudge stuff every once in a while? I should have just left it instead of unraveling the whole thing. But I really thought it was going to be a simple, like, oh, here's where I made the mistake and I can fix it. Nope. Couldn't do it. So the sweater is not finished, but it's very close. Maybe another 2 or 3 hours of crochet time on the sweater, and then I can start seaming it up. So I don't even want to say, oh, next time I'll have it finished, because what if something terrible happens and I have to unravel? If this stitch count is off by 2 at the end, I'm just gonna keep going. But it better not be, because I recrocheted the whole sleeve. I really wanted to wear this. I can still wear it as soon as it's done, but I really wanted to wear it this weekend. And I will not be able to because it is not finished. That is my work in progress. My sad crochet sweater, my unraveling frogging story of the week. That's actually the only work in progress that I have, because the other 2 turned into finished objects. Now, I have not done any crochet since Saturday. So this is Tuesday right now. I'm recording a little bit early for the episode that's going to go up on Saturday. I haven't done any crochet since Saturday because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, today, I have been doing schoolwork. Finals are next week. I've got some papers due, and I've just been buckling down and doing that, and it's killing me. I just need to crochet more. But school is important. I need to finish my work. So the only other thing that I have to actually show you that's been crocheted are some gauge swatches. So I'll show them to you with the projects that they are related to. I have a lot of upcoming projects. I have 5 projects that I'm about to start. And we might ask, why so many projects? How could you possibly start 5 this week? I am going on a stitchcation, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a vacation for stitching. My friend Caitlin, who made me the wonderful project bag that you saw last week, is part of a sewing circle, her and her mom, and they are renting a house in St. Augustine, Florida on the beach for Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. And they're just gonna go and sew. And I don't sew, but I crochet, so I get to go to this stitchcation. I can't even tell you how much I've been looking forward to this. And this is why I have been so dedicated to not crocheting this week and instead focusing on my schoolwork and my papers, because I want to spend 100% of my time this weekend crocheting and maybe having some wine and being on the beach and just not thinking about school at all. So I'm taking a lot of projects with me because I've never had a full, 8 hours a day to crochet before, and I don't want to get bored. I want to kind of jump from project to project. So let me show you the projects I'm taking with me. The first one is in the project bag that Caitlin made me because it's big enough to hold it. This is the one that I talked about last time. It's the Seashore Bliss cardigan by Drops Design. with all of the diagrams. Ridiculous, ridiculous diagram pages. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's another one. All of those diagram pages. But I'm going to figure it out. And I have all of the yarn for it, which is the Himalaya Perlina yarn. I got this at Tuesday Morning. This is leftover sweater yarn from my gray and pink sweater that I just showed you. I did manage to get a hold of 3 more balls of it at the Tuesday Morning in California. So if you're in the United States and you have access to a Tuesday Morning, I bet you can find this yarn. I have found it in a Tuesday Morning in St. Pete, Florida, where I live, in Austin, Texas, and in Brea, California. All of those had the same yarn. Now, they didn't have very much of it, but they did have this yarn. And I really like it because it's soft. It's a cotton acrylic blend, like 50-50. You can wash and dry it. It does not shrink. I have washed and dried 3 gauge swatches now, 1 for the original sweater and 2 for this sweater. It does not shrink at all. This is the color Bright Peach, and you get, for 100 grams, you get 317 yards, which is quite a lot. So I have probably too much, actually. I've got 700 grams. But this pattern, it only has 3/4 length sleeves. And I prefer my cardigans to have long sleeves. So I'm going to make it, see how much yarn I have left, and then maybe I can just keep going with the pattern until it has long sleeves. So that's pattern 1. Here are my gauge swatches. This is a gauge swatch with my favorite 4mm hook. This is the gauge swatch with a 4.5mm hook. And then I did another gauge swatch with a 5mm hook because it wasn't quite big enough with a 4.5. I don't have a 4.75. Do they even make that? I don't know, probably. But that one was too big, so I ripped it out. And then I washed these, and I think I'm going to go with the 4.5mm hook. It's about 1/3 of an inch too short, but I think I can block it to the measurements, and I'd rather have it be fit this way, because that's where the stitches are going to go this way than this way. Because I can always add a few rows or block it out like this. If it's a little too short, I don't want to mess with adding stitches. So these are my 2 little gauge swatches for that pattern. That's the Seashore Bliss cardigan by Drops Design. That's project number 1 that I'm taking with me on Stitchcation 2017. Project number 2 is a project that is out of the Simply Crochet magazine, issue 45, on page 34. It's called the Triangle Tunic. This is a paid-for pattern. I'm sure you can get this on Ravelry now because issue 45 came out quite a few months ago. Last year, I think. This is what it looks like. There's a bigger picture. I love it. I really have wanted to make a beach cover-up for some time, and if you look at this picture, it's almost like a dress, and I really want to make that. This pattern is by Anna Mancini Williams, and I believe it's called the Sea and Sand Tunic, or the Triangle Tunic. I'm not sure. Sometimes I get confused about what Simply Crochet is naming their patterns. Because here it says Sea and Sand, but then up at the top it says Triangle Tunic, and that's what it says on every page thereafter. So I'm not sure. But it's by Anna Mancini Williams, and it's a triangle tunic. So hopefully, now that you've seen the picture, you can recognize it. I did a gauge swatch for this in some sugar and cream cotton yarn that I have. I have a big cone of it that it's been sitting in the closet because I don't know what to do with it. So I was like, oh, I know, cotton yarn, it'll be perfect for a tunic. No. This is my gauge swatch. It's horrible. It's too thick, it's lumpy, it's not soft at all, despite having been through the washer and dryer already. That yarn is not good for garments. I was hoping to make it work with the right hook size and maybe some fabric softener, but no, this is terrible. Not going to make it out of that. What I am going to make it out of is this. This yarn, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen already because I got a whole bunch of it from the Tuesday Morning in California. I went looking specifically for enough yarn to make a garment with. I got 8 balls in California, and then I managed to get a hold of 1 more ball in each color actually this morning from the Tuesday Morning locally. This is the yarn. White and blue. Now, this yarn is by Fibra Natura. It's called Naturalin. Colorways are just blue and white. This is a discontinued yarn. And I found that out because I plugged it into Ravelry to see what I could make with it. And it says discontinued on it. And that Tuesday Morning bought the rest of the stock from the mill that made it. So if you want this yarn, you're going to have to rush to your Tuesday Morning and find it. I don't know how much they have. Clearly enough to put in Tuesday Mornings all across the United States, but I don't know how much they have total. This is 53% cotton and 47% linen. It's 100 grams, 170 yards, or 155 meters. They did have a darker brown color. I don't know if I can get all of these in the picture with me. Because I have 10 of them. Maybe you can see them this way. I have 5 of each colorway. The reason I went and bought 1 more is because I have just enough to make this tunic, and I was like, oh, that'll be perfect to wear to the beach. Linen and cotton, it's perfect. But I had just enough yards to make that pattern, and I think that the pattern yarn that is called for is a little bit thinner than this yarn, so I just wanted to make sure I had enough, so I went and bought 1 more ball of each one. And I'm kind of excited about that. I washed, and it says on the label, you are not supposed to put this in the dryer, but you can put it in the washer. I washed and dried this. Came out just fine. I did some research online first to make sure you could wash linen. I was like, why can't you wash it? It's linen and cotton. It's not like it's going to shrink. It's perfectly fine. It's not super soft. It still has that linen feel, but it is not scratchy at all. It's just a little stiff, and I know linen will soften up the more you use it. So I think that's perfect for a beach cover-up. So those are all my gauge swatches. This horrible thing is going in the trash. Hate it. Those are 2 projects that I'm going to start at Stitchcation this week. The 3rd project is one that you will know about if you have been on Instagram or watch any crochet podcasts. It's one that I love. I love how it looks. I love all of the projects that have been coming up on Instagram and on podcasts showing that it's done. But I hadn't bought the pattern. I hadn't started it because I did not think I was going to get as far with that purple wrap, the baby blanket, and my sweater as I have because of school. So I was convinced that I wasn't going to be able to do it in the time allotted. It goes until the end of May, I believe. Of course, what I am talking about is the Hotel of Bees Cal. A Cal is a crochet along, if you don't know that. It's a usually online, crochet along where somebody will sponsor it, and they'll say, okay, we're doing this project, and then everyone will get the pattern, get their yarn, and we all make the project together. Now, local yarn shops also do knit-alongs and crochet-alongs and things like that, but this one is online. It's being hosted by Sandra from Cherry Heart, the awesome Cherry Heart podcast, and Sam from Betsy Makes podcast. So they are hosting the Hotel of Bees Cal. This is the Hotel of Bees pattern. It is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. If you go to the crochet along page that Sandra from Cherry Heart has and Sam from Betsy Makes, there is a coupon code for this pattern. Now, I completely forgot that there was a coupon code, so I just bought the pattern on Ravelry. It's €5. So in US, I think that came out to $5.69. That's not that expensive. That's less than the cost of a ball of yarn. So the pattern is like 20 pages long. It has very detailed photos. It has an FAQ section where if something seems to be going wrong in your pattern, you can go to this section. Someone else has probably already had this problem and she's probably already answered it. I think it's very worth the money. And the shawl is beautiful. So it's got, you can't really see from this tiny black and white picture, but it's got like a honeycomb design. It's got little bees, and then it alternates between like a lace and a honeycomb pattern. I'm really excited to start it. I thought it was gorgeous from the moment I saw it. I just didn't think that I would have time. But because those other two projects are finished and that sweater is almost finished, and I have all of this time this weekend when I'm going on Stitchcation, I'm going to do it. You can look and see, there's been some beautiful, beautiful, if you search the hashtag HOBCAL, HOBCAL, I'll put it down the bottom so you can see. On Instagram, you'll see all the beautiful pictures. Claudia from the Crochet Luna podcast has made a gorgeous one. Emma from the Potter and Bloom podcast made one that was green and white and pink, which was super cute. Clarizabeth from Crochet Cakes podcast has made one. There's all people all over are making them, and it's fantastic. I've actually never purchased a pattern on Ravelry before. I have purchased plenty of patterns, of course, but I've just never purchased one on Ravelry. And let me tell you, if you haven't done that, it is fantastic. It is so easy. It takes you to PayPal. You don't have to make an account. You can if you want. You type in a credit card number, pops right into your Ravelry library, and you can download and print it off. It is so easy. You don't have to print it off. You could keep it on your iPad. I will definitely be buying more patterns from Ravelry. So let me show you my yarns. These are my 3 colors. This is going to be Premier Yarns Cotton Fair, so it's a 50% cotton acrylic blend. I can't even tell you what colorway because the ball band is shoved inside the ball of yarn, and I don't want to unravel them. So I've got this bluish color, which really, oh my goodness, I dropped it on the floor. Sorry about that. I have this blue color that really matches my shirt, the shirt that I'm wearing. Then I have a variegated. So this is blue and white and green. I'm going to do this. And then I have for the third section, white. And it's cotton acrylic, so it can be washed, and I can wear it in Florida. I have been on really like a cotton acrylic kick lately. I feel like that's most of what I've been crocheting. I found this yarn at Michael's in California and brought it home with me. My local Michael's does not have this, but now that I have this yarn, I definitely would order more online. I think it's super soft, and it's very tightly wound, so I don't think I'm going to have any issues with splitting. That's project number 3, Hotel of Bees Cal. Super excited to start that one. Project number 4, because we're not done yet, because I'm going crazy right now, is also some yarn that I got on clearance, also a discontinued yarn at Tuesday morning. It's called Ariana. This one doesn't even have a ball band. It has nothing. It was just wrapped in plastic in the clearance bin. I have red, gray, and green. I was going to say it's like a mint green, but it may show up as a mint green on your screen. This is lime green. This is very green. There was only one of each. It was $3 a ball. This is 63% bamboo and 37% polyamide. You get 91 yards for 100 grams. So not a lot, but it is a bulky yarn. So It's like fiber in the middle encased by bamboo mesh. I don't know if this is going to show up very well if I put it right up by the camera. You can kind of see that that's mesh. I want to make a skirt with this. I don't know if I have enough yarn, honestly. I think I'm going to make a gray waistband and then green in the middle and then red at the bottom. Or should it be like this? I don't know. Do you have an idea, an opinion? Should it be like this? Or like this? I kind of like the green in the middle. So the pattern that I'm going to use, I found online. You can find this by Google searching. It's called the Jolly Rancher by Evan Howard. You cannot see what it looks like from this picture. But basically what it is a solid waistband, and then it has a lacy pattern. And I think that that will work. It's definitely not going to be this long because I'm not going to have enough yarn. But if I can get it long enough to be maybe like a little bit longer than a mini skirt, then I'll be happy. And I'll put somehow I'll put a lining in it, or I'll get like a slip that's the same height or length. I cannot talk today, you guys. Okay, the same length, and I'll somehow put that inside of it. And I think it would be really pretty. So we'll see. I'm probably be crocheting this on a large, like a 9mm crochet hook, maybe 10. We'll see. I'm excited. It's very soft. It's bamboo. I've never worked with bamboo before. I always want to, and then I buy something else instead. So, trying to make a skirt out of this. And finally, I'm going to try to design my own skirt. Now, I've never made a crochet skirt before. So what I'm going to try to do is just make a panel, like a tube, basically. Although there is going to have to be some increasing for the hips. But I have 3 balls of this country loom yarn. This is by Loops and Threads. This was given to me by someone that I know who had 3 balls of this. It is 104 yards. For 5 ounces or 140 grams. Sorry, I couldn't find it for a second. This is the color Wizard. Oh, too close. That's way too close. And look, there's hair. There's hair poking out of it. I don't think it's quite coming up. It comes up better on the screen when it's against my blue shirt. It is a twist of green, purple, and black. I have 3 of these. So definitely enough to make a skirt with. And I think it would be super cute like over some tights in the winter time. It's kind of fuzzy, so it's going to be a little too hot to wear, I think, until maybe September or October. But this is what the yarn looks like. What a fun, weird yarn, right? So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be successful in trying to make a crochet skirt with this, but I'm certainly going to try. This will be my fun project to take on Stitchcation, because the other ones are going to require some counting and a lot of paying attention. That's all the projects. That's a lot of projects, you guys. I hope to have them at least all started by the next podcast. I'm going to take them all with me on Stitchcation. But the first thing I'm going to do is finish that sweater. The second thing I'm going to do is, I almost said cast on. I don't even knit. I'm not going to cast on anything. I'm going to start. Cast on just sounds so great. That's the problem. Is there a crochet term for casting on other than I'm going to start the project? If you know of a crochet term that means the same thing as cast on, and don't tell me chain, because that's just not exciting, then please let me know in the comments. Comment and tell me so that I can use that. I'm going to finish that sweater. I'm going to start the Hotel of Bees shawl. And I'm definitely going to start the Seashore Bliss cardigan by Drops Design. This is a tongue twister. like she sells seashells by the seashore. Say that really fast 10 times, or even 2 times. I can't get it up. And then I'm going to start the tunic. So we'll see. I don't know. I may not get everything started, but that's what's going to be on my crochet hook for the next couple of weeks. And as soon as school lets out, I'm really excited to spend a lot more time doing that. I want to talk about one more thing before I let you guys go. And that is, I have 2 acquisitions, which I don't normally have, but one of them is yarn, which is rare because I bought all of this yarn with specific projects in mind. But I got this yarn, this lonely, sad skein of yarn. It's not even in that great of shape. It's coming apart. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got sparkle in it. So this is called Bamboo Glam. I got it for $3 when I got the other yarn from Tuesday morning. It was in the clearance bin, and it was so sad and all alone. I wish there was more of this because it's incredibly soft. This is 96% bamboo and 4% glitter. That's what it says on the label. It's 4% glitter. You get 170 yards for 100 grams. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. There's not very much of it, so I can't. It's either going to have to be part of another project, or it's going to have to be like a little scarf or something, because it's certainly not enough to make much with. But I just loved it, and it was so sad that it was alone, and it has glitter in it, you guys. It's 4% glitter. Everyone needs a little sparkle in their life, don't you think? So I bought it. This is my bamboo yarn. The other thing I acquired is something that I bought for myself. It was a birthday present to me. This is the Top-Down Crochet Sweater Book by Dora Orenstein. I have had this on my list for quite a while. I have one of her other, she has several books. I have one of her other crochet books called The Crocheter's Skill Building Workshop, which is very helpful. It's a great book. One of the reasons I love this book, and if you are watching Claudia from the Crochet Luna podcast, her last episode, she also got this book, and I was like, oh my god, what a coincidence, because I had just ordered it, and then I watched her podcast the next day. One of the reasons she liked it is because it has all different sizes of people wearing sweaters. We've got skinny people, we've got more fuller figured people, tall people, shorter people. This sweater book is not just for a size 0 model. And I told you guys in the very first episode of my garment issues, I'm always afraid they're not going to fit because I just have a long torso, and it's just, sizing is really difficult. And then you see these pictures and it's always like a size 2 model. And there's nothing wrong with being a size 2. That's absolutely wonderful. If that's the size that you are, rock it. But if you're not a size 2, it becomes a little difficult to see how a garment will really look on someone who's not a size 2, because there's no photos. There's no photos of it, so how are you supposed to know? This book I want to make most of these. Let me see if I can show you some patterns. The first one that I want to make, well, not the first one, but I don't know if you can see. I have to cover this up because it's, is that purple one? And this one as well. That's a cardigan in like an oatmeal color. It's beautiful. I also would like to make this one. Look at that cabling. It's gorgeous. There is this one, which is my favorite one in the whole book. That is beautiful. It's a dress, and they also have a shirt version. I'm sorry, I'm going way off screen. And then finally, I wanted to make, I don't know where it went. I lost it. Oh, it's probably this one, right here. That cardigan. I'm a fan of cardigans, not because I don't like sweaters, But because, like I said, I live in Florida, it's very hot, so I have to be able to take them off. And I don't want to be like pulling it off over my head all the time. This book is very well written. I have already used this to figure out specific measurements for myself. It tells you exactly how to measure yourself everywhere to get the perfect size. It tells you about ease, it tells you about yarn types. This is a fantastic book. So if you want to crochet sweaters, that's the way to go. I got mine on Amazon. I think it was like $11. That is not a lot of money. So totally worth it. I don't have any yarn specifically for one of those projects yet because I have all of these other projects to finish that I just showed you, but I will definitely be doing that in the future. I think that's it. Hopefully this episode has gone okay. I've recorded it since the finished objects in one go. I am a little under the weather. I don't know if you can hear me sniffing in the background. When I sat down to record this, I looked in the camera to make sure that the lighting was okay, and I was like, ugh, because I was so pale. I look like a ghost. So I promptly got up and put some makeup on so that you could actually see some of the features of my face. And when I'm done recording this, I'm going to go take it off because I don't feel very well. I have pretty much taken a few hours. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and then I came home and promptly took a nap because I'm just exhausted. And I'm sure I picked up a bug from the airport. Dirty airports. I try not to touch anything in an airport, and if I do, like the minute I get through security, I go wash my hands, and I'm just washing my hands at every moment that I possibly can. But somehow somebody in one of the 3 airports I was in on Saturday got me with their germs. And now I don't feel very well. So, not cool is all I have to say about that. But that's all. I feel like I'm just rambling on and on now. So I'm going to stop. I hope you guys have a wonderful next 2 weeks. I will see you all in 2 more weeks for the next podcast. Hopefully I have so many things to show you from Stitchcation. I will tell you all about Stitchcation. And thanks for spending your time with me. If you like this, please subscribe. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. I'm just so thrilled that you're here, and you really bring me happiness and give me a little bit of joy. I've just loved reading all of your comments. So have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!